Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 9. It's our final match of Day 2 for the China region. I'm LD.
I'm Gods, and we've got our DK vs LGD showdown. Two teams. They've had some big battles over the past couple of years in Dota 2, and if you go further back into Dota 1, two of the longest-standing Chinese organizations that still play Dota 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. These are two of the biggest and baddest teams, not only from China, but really in the world. And well, both teams fared pretty well at the International in years past. Last year, not the best year for LGD, but they've added maybe their new teammate. And we'll see if he can fill those shoes for Xiao 8. He's not the team leader, though. That title goes to Yao. But for DK, it's their first match. It's their debut, or I guess their second match at this point, but their debut day for Starladder China. So looking forward to seeing how they do against some stiffer competition.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a tough one for LGD, I feel, more than anything, though, because DK have just been red hot, having taken the Cena Cup, having shown up today. I mean, that was a bit of a shaky start against CIS, but... I mean, they still got through it. They still got the win. So I still heavily favor DK in this matchup against LGD, a team who's still trying to kind of find themselves under Yao's captaincy, as well as with the new player, maybe, figure out what they want to draft. They've been mixing up their draft quite a lot, I feel.
I had fun with casting CIS, though, and I feel like, you know, they're a team to look out for as well. LGD, not by any means guaranteed to move even into the playoffs, let alone to the LAN finals. But guys, with that being said, the draft is underway. It's time to get into it. Starladder Day 9 continues right now as Gods apparently abandoning me in the middle of the cast. Yeah, we'll hop into the chat. So we hop ourselves into the draft now. DK are going to be on the Dire side and LGD on the Radiant. It is a best of one, of course. And we'll see what they're going to pick here. Pretty standard picks and bans so far. Alk was the first pick. Lycan's available. That's probably the big one that jumps out, at least initially.
Yeah, DK haven't played that much Lycan, though. More like a Vici Gaming and LGD type hero. But DK like this Shadow Shaman AA. They'll get the AA on its own. Maybe look towards... even like they got the Centaur later on in past drafts, but maybe even they try and grab it early on just to try and secure it with Ice's Nature's Prophet taken out of the pool. But
there's still that Centaur, though.
Yeah.
Not something they would go for early, but...
I think... no, I was just trying to say they might go for it early. They did against Vici Gaming. They picked it up in the first two picks a couple times, or at least once.
That was specifically against Lycan, though, right? I think so.
Yeah, maybe. They'll go for the Lifesteal for now, so... always a good, reliable hero for burning.
Yeah. He's been playing a lot of Lifesteal recently. And part of that's that we've seen Mushi back on more of his traditional tempo controllers. As we do have the teams mixed up here. Damn it.
Yeah.
The first one where I've got to swap them of the day.
Okay.
They've all been straightforward so far, but yeah, DK are on the Dire side here. So
okay.
Ancient Apparition Lifestealer.
Yeah, strong opening. They love this AA Shadow Shaman. They'll love the AA on its own anyways, and I think Shadow Shaman is... I think Lifestealer is still one of the top tier 1 position heroes in the game. You can't run him as like a solo core, but that's not the metagame anymore. These 4 protect 1 core lineups are just worse than ever, I would say.
Yeah, we've seen much more multiple core lineups, as well as teams contesting the offlane a lot. So Alk the first pick for LGD, and has generally been a solo mid. So if that's Maybe's hero, then we'd still be looking to see what they're gonna run as sort of a safe lane carry. It's been Yao in the offlane lately. We saw him on Prophet yesterday, but Prophet not available. They'll take the Storm right away, and I imagine what they're going to do now is ban the puck. So they'll remove some Lifestealer vehicles either by grabbing them for themselves or by just banning them out.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. It's Stormseer, just a mobile hero who can kite around the Lifesteal a bit. Can also engage and gank him once you get that Orchid up. It's a good way of actually killing off a Lifestealer, and they will ban the puck as you suggested. So ban the puck, ban one more Mushi type mid hero that could cause problems, and go from there. Speaking, there's no Invoker.
Well, you're up against DK, and you know Mushi doesn't play Invoker, but they can just throw Ice mid if they ever really want to.
Yeah, they've done that I think once or twice before. They've run Invoker definitely in the off lane. Like I've seen Ice do that, but
yeah, very hit or miss, depends on the way the enemy team drafts.
Yeah,
but it's just something. It's where DK have that versatility if they really want to turn to it.
Well, with the Stormspirit pick, it probably puts Alchemist onto a support role now as well, which is still, I think he's still good there, but not quite as good as the mid role. But
yeah, and they're Radiant, and they'd love for him to just be farming Ancients as well, but maybe they rotate him in to do that at a later stage of the game.
Yeah.
For now, the Nyx gets banned. DK don't have an offlaner. And it hasn't really been Ice Ice Ice's go-to in the offlane, though. It's a good vehicle with Lifestealer, but actually it seems like teams are really afraid of the Ancient Apparition Nyx combo, because it's just like, Nyx ganks, you throw the ult there, and that's a kill if you hit if you hit them both.
Lots of those options. Batrider, another hero still in the pool that synergizes well with the AA, because you can throw the ulti from afar once your bat has blink, so maybe even look towards an Ice 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 offline. Batrider, and also a great vehicle for the Lifestealer, so I think the Centaur plus Lifestealer doesn't have that great a synergy, so I don't think we look towards DK picking up a Centaur unless it's kind of like a last resort offlane hero.
Slark the ban for DK. Interesting ban. I just feel like Slark hasn't... Every game that I've watched Slark, he's just done nothing all game for like weeks now across all regions. So
they're targeting Zhao Tuji with these bans though. The Slark, the Weaver, both Zhao Tuji safe lane farming heroes. That
who continues to be unable to settle on a name, by the way.
Yeah.
Every time we cast this guy, he's Zhao Tuji, he's Rabbit, he's Pia, or however you say that. I don't know, but make up your mind, my friend. You're killing me.
Yep.
Well, nonetheless, he's still a very stable carry player. Just like Burning.
10 seconds remaining.
Absolutely.
Weaver also a good matchup for Lifestealer, and DK maybe going for a stun light lineup at this point. Ancient Apparition not a good support versus Weaver. They could pick like a Rubik to deal with him maybe, but they may have something else in mind here.
Well, they go Centaur. Okay.
There you go.
So, this is just such a manly offlane hero. It suits Ice Ice Ice, but I was saying earlier it doesn't really synergize that much with the lifesteal, but I still think he's just a beast. Where you get that early point in return, and the supports just can't really harass you without taking as much or even more damage than they're dishing out. So you go for that stout shield plus heavy regen starting build, like you can get 8 tangos plus a salve, and you're just almost untouchable in that offlane.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, almost like it suits him well because he's such an aggressive offlaner. Just getting something that is very difficult to shut down. There is a Clockwork out there. LGD is still looking for an offlaner. Clock's kind of fallen off recently, but I still think he's pretty strong, and against Lifestealer especially can be a really annoying hero. Also good just to jump Ancient Apparition before fights start.
Yeah.
They'll need most likely the offlaner, a safe lane farmer, and a support. As far as supports go, there's
still your junglers, your Chen Enchantress.
There's like, I guess, Disruptor.
Yeah.
For DK maybe.
Yeah, for DK, yeah. Both teams play Enchantress. LGD have been picking it a lot. Apparently, it's one of their most picked heroes so far this patch. They picked it in 70% of their games lately, so definitely something which LGD do lean towards.
The return of Darkseer. This is 2 games in a row, gods.
Yeah.
Last game, I actually thought he was pretty effective, even though they ended up losing for DT.
I agree, and I think he matches up well against like an AA Lifestealer type draft. You don't have a proper stun. You've got a slow, you've got a cold feet, which only sets in after a slow or a stun, but you surge out of that very easily. So this forces DK, if they want to zone out the Darkseer, they've got to get basically a setup stun.
Or something.
Yeah.
They'd probably need a Disruptor at this point. Rubik won't do it.
So we'll see what DK want to get. And if they want to reveal Mushi's here now, they just pick up their other support.
Or sorry, did I say Disruptor? I meant Shadow Demon. Man. I was thinking Disruption and said Disruptor. But
Disruptor would work though.
Yeah, he'd be
but Disruptor's great against Darkseer actually. With the glimpse, if he tries to surge away, you just glimpse him back in kinetic field.
Not from level 1 though. You need like those first few levels before you can do much to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's still okay level 1. Like if Darkseer's level 1 with a you don't get surge at level 1, but even level 2 Darkseer, he surges away, you just glimpse him back, and level 1 surge doesn't really last long enough. So after you pull him back, then you open wounds and he doesn't have surge. So.
Yeah, you just kind of want to wait out the glimpse and run away early on.
Yeah, well,
level 1 glimpse just doesn't have good range is the problem.
5 seconds remaining.
Like, even if you glimpse him back, it's only a few feet. So we'll see. LGD working on their 4th pick. I guess the Darkseer pick puts Alchemist firmly into the support role. Darkseer to the offlane, and now a safe lane Viper for Xiaotuji, most likely.
Maybe they seen too much of.
Matches up well against Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Not so good against Centaur, but good in the laning stage, certainly.
Yeah. And they didn't need a mech buy. They've already got the Darkseer there, so it's...
And the Alku could build it later.
The main thing for this, I mean, it's being picked up partially as a hero to deal with the Lifestealer, having the Viper Strike to go through his rage, slows attack speed, limit his damage output, but Viper on his own, a decent core hero, considering you're not up against, like, you don't need a proper carry. You're not up against, like, a Gyro or whatever, or a Luna or anything. You're up against a Lifestealer Centaur. Like, this is not much carry potential there. So Viper matches up great against those because he is that ranged carry. And I think it almost forces DK to pick something like a Mushi TA for mid.
TA would be pretty bad this game. Refraction is useless.
Yeah.
You've got overload charges, acid spray, ion shell, Viper's damage over time.
Not a fun game for a TA, but they need anything with a bit of at least punch, whether it's a carry like
Shadow Fiend?
Yeah. Not
Maybe.
bad.
It's
Like
dire.
the minus armor combining with a lifesteal is always okay, but it either needs to be like right click damage or like heavy nuke damage. But like the puck is taken out, the Quap is still there. Quap's banned now. I was about to say, Quap probably is the best solution to the lack of damage output, but now it's banned out.
I mean, if you want to go more niche, you can always think about like Skywrath Mage. You can snowball pretty hard, can shut down Storm potentially with the silence. It's just not the best late game hero though.
So
once the BKBs come out, he's pretty useless.
I'm not sure what DK looked to get for mid lane for Mushi. The Kunker's always there, if you look at like Mushi trademark heroes, but Kunker does okay. It just gives you 3 melee core heroes at that point.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and still none of them scale that hard into late game unless you get real lucky with your cleaves and your crits.
A hero we haven't seen in a long time, who's kind of like the king of the mid lane, the OD. OD's fallen off a lot. I still think he's an okay hero.
10 seconds remaining.
But I don't know.
OD would be good this game. Storm or Viper. Viper does decently against OD, but Storm really struggles. They're going to go Invoker, so this will probably put Ice mid.
Have we ever seen a Mushi Invoker? Like, no. I don't think it's a thing. I don't think Mushi Centaur's a
Winter
thing.
insists that Mushi cannot play Invoker because of his hotkey setup. So we're going to find out, and, well, I think he's right here. Ice on the Invoker.
Mushi's like, man, I gotta go offlane. Like, what's going on?
Offlane Centaur. I don't know how excited he is about this.
I think Invoker was is the kind of hero they needed. I just wasn't thinking of it because I was like, they need a Mushi hero, and as you say, he can't. That's definitely not a Mushi hero.
He's already OP without being able to play Invoker.
Ice is probably like whispering in his ear like all the tips right now how to play Centaur and stuff, because this is also not a Mushi hero, although more of a Mushi hero than Invoker.
We'll see how it works out, but this gives them a hero that can add some punch, and they were feeling a bit light on the damage output. Their supports do a ton of damage, that it should be mentioned, but that requires farm. Ancient Apparition, Disruptor, both are going to need quite a few items and levels, and can be hard to come by those when there's so many good gankers on LGD side. Mainly the Storm and the Alk. So I like this Invoker pick.
Yeah.
But I am curious to see how Mushi Centaur does. This is an interesting experiment here for Team DK gods.
No, he used to play stuff like Starladder a bit, and I don't know. He's gone boots first, so not the Ice build where you go Stout Shield, 8-10 goes Salve.
They might be going aggressive, honestly.
Yeah, protect him as much as possible. Put Lifestealer 1v1 against Darkseer is so. If you get pulled a couple bit more regen, probably does okay, but
he hasn't been pulled much at all. Maybe they're just going to place wards. This could just be an offlane Centaur.
They pulled Mushi at Tengo, so it looks like it will be an offlane Centaur.
All right, let's introduce our teams here. It's a best of one, your final match of Starladder China, day number 2. We do have European action kicking off a few hours after this game concludes. Maybe it's only 1 hour, but sometime soon after. And we've got LGD on the Radiant side, 0-1. They did drop their first match to Newbie. They'll look to bounce back, but it's a staunch opponent in DK. Waiting to clash with them. Xiao Tuji handling the Viper. DD on that support Alchemist. DDC, I'll have his work cut out for him here on the Dazzle, as he's already had his camp blocked and an Observer Ward placed in the lane / the jungle. Solo mid will be maybe the pub star. I'm excited to see how he does on like a proper semi-carry snowball hero in the Storm. Didn't get that last game, but Yao as your offlane Darkseer.
Well, over on the Dire side, we're going to have Team DK. These guys have been going on an absolute tear lately. I can't remember the last series they lost. Mushi on an offlane Centaur. I didn't think I was going to be saying that today. Ice on a solo mid Exort Invoker. Lamb playing a support Ancient Apparition. MMY, also known as Die. Weapon X on the Disruptor. And then finally, Burning playing one of his most played heroes. And to me, this is like his signature hero at the moment, the Lifestealer.
Yeah, not his career signature hero, but definitely as of late, you'd have to say it is. In the mid lane, Creep Block's been really good for Maybe. He'll have a big advantage here. Ice messed his up a bit, and it'll be on the high ground, and that's really what you want against an Exort Invoker early, is that high ground advantage. It hurts when he starts plinking away at you.
Yep. SSS won't get a good chance. Ras actually doing a decent job so far, not even prioritizing the last hitting as much as just wanting to push maybe back. He's gone for a Null Talisman first, which means he won't have that rush bottle build.
In good news for DK, this Darkseer has just abandoned the off lane. He sees the 2 supports in lane and he says, I'm just going to go jungle. And this time around, unlike the game where we saw the off lane bat, this camp isn't blocked, and Yao should be able to get quite a bit, although he will miss his first stack.
It's okay.
And no Golem, so he'll be happy about that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, top lane, the AA also missed a bit of a stack there on the big camp, it looks like. So both teams not having the most fun with their stacks. Yeah, like you say, straight into the jungle. He cannot deal with this tri lane at all. And for Mushi at bottom lane, he's doing okay, getting some experience. Has gone for that level 1 return build, which basically prevents the harass coming out from the right click of like DDC on the Dazzle. So he can't just look to zone him out because he just takes too much damage.
Yeah, Centaur. Mushi doesn't have the most regen, though. Only 4 tangos, so...
He actually can harass okay, because he hasn't gone Stout Shield, and he hasn't got a lot of regen. So I actually think DDC can do a bit of harass here when possible.
And the other thing is, when you're running the tri-lane, you've got way more regen across 3 heroes than they do with just the 1 off-laner.
Yep.
So they could just spread the regen out. We'll see maybe a courier snipe attempt from Lamb, but this is not happening.
No, courier not even close to coming out. Well, bottle soon.
Maybe he doesn't have his bottle yet. Despite the better creep block, Ice has been putting the hurt on him. Your solo mid champion, showing why.
Yeah, it's pretty much even on actual CS. A few more designs Ice, but because of the Null Talisman, that bottle's just really slow. Like you don't get it until a bit after 2 minutes. Yeah, he didn't actually save up any of his starting gold for the bottle, and he's sending it around the long way. He's smart. He knows this might happen, and he's not going to get courier sniped.
Yeah, I'll just try not to die here to the neutrals, but already hits level 2, halfway to level 3, and you compare that to Mushi. Mushi, he's kept the supports in lane, so they're not able to do stacks or anything like that, but since Lamb's kind of wasted his time mid, it works out to be pretty even so far.
I like this, just the courier control there. Rather than just use the hotkey, send to me, send to base, they actually micro it specifically around those trees, and that's something which I think we'll start seeing almost all teams doing, just because of how easy it is to snipe that courier before 3 minutes.
He's rotating top now. Burning, creep skipping, trying to draw the lane back. Hasn't spent his gold yet. We've generally seen just the standard like phase boots out of him as they channel his stun mid. They need this to connect to Ice for a first blood. He's already invoking into Quas. This is going to be risky. He's got a cold snap ready. Can he cold snap someone under tower? Thinking about it. No, he's just going to make a run for it, but one more remnant isn't enough. He could cold snap maybe now. Maybe turn this around for a first blood. Ice does it, but just a second late. He played that perfectly, though.
Yeah.
Waits for the fog, then turns around, but in the end, just a little too much damage.
Yep. I think maybe actually missed an overload hit as well. After the Vortex, he went to right-click, cancelled his animation, and used Remnant. So he missed one of his overload charges, which caused him to have to chase a lot further in. And almost, well, he paid for it with his life.
Yeah, he's still got the first blood experience, though. Already almost level 5. And that helps make up for the 9 denies on Ice to the 1 of maybe. So gets the first blood, and he desperately needed it.
Well, from here on out, we do look towards... This top tier 1 tower didn't actually go down even with all that creep skipping. Burning's got his phase boots up already, so no Midas Rush or anything of the sort. He's kind of known for his farming abilities and always playing that safe, stable carry, but he never goes the greedy Midas Rushes, Burning. Or very rarely, and only on specific heroes.
Yeah, and this game, you don't want to let LGD just sit back and farm. I mean, they're a pretty scary lineup once they get the items up, so... More of a mid-game lineup from DK, by and large, and just going for phase boots lets you take the fight slowly. Also makes it real hard for Darkseer to lane against him.
Yes, it's the early game killing. He can just pick up a TP scroll now and be ready to like counter gank these lanes if he wants to.
Yeah, pushing it to the limit. One more Centaur smack would have brought him down.
TP top, they want to try and hold this tier 1.
Well, Acid Spray is going to make this a difficult push. The tower's in deny... Soon will be in deny range, rather. And there's no glyph available, so DK are going to commit to this. Alkstun could be channeled. Burning. Juggling the tower aggro, and the tower will fall. Sunstrike. Oh, no, sorry, he's on the dark side.
He's
keeping my eyes open for any kill potential here. But.
Slightly mistimed last hit from Burning. He was going for that, but left it on like 5 HP, and his supports didn't want him to like take too much damage there. It wasn't worth leaving.
It was a little risky with the Alk there as well. If he lobs the stun in and you're a little slow, You still take the damage as well. When
you can't rage block it.
You can rage block the stun, but
yeah,
no reason to mess around there.
No, so they get out of there. It just means we can look at was it Disruptor getting the Disruptor getting the gold, so possibly some fast arcane boots or something for the team.
This Ancient Apparition is level 2.
Yikes!
Lamb is really behind.
He often plays this kind of a support where he's creating space for the team. One of his games where it was Venomancer against Vici Gaming in the final of Cena Cup, he was just level 7 minutes in, he was level 1 still. I knew he did a great job creating space, and then he was given mid lane. Like, he took over mid lane from the solo mid and then caught up.
Oh, mid lane, there's a zip in, but maybe just tanks Cold Snap after Cold Snap to the dome. Still survives, though. That was close. Is there going to be a buyback Sunstrike? No, nothing of the sort. That's a hard one to hit. No. Unless it's in the middle of a chaotic team fight, as soon as you buy back, they start juking. So a man can dream.
Mushi bottom lane needs to be a bit careful. DC's coming around, just a bit of casual harass. Actually, Viper looks to go on this one.
Oh, but Mushi, not level 6 yet. Nothing much he can do. Nether Toxin. Is the poison going to be enough to tick him down?
Close. 20 HP.
Low. Not dead yet. Meanwhile, Sunstrike. Ice has walked into a whole world of trouble as DD arrives and the slows kick in. He's a Quasixord Invoker. There's no escaping from this. Another death, and he's rushing Midas, so the repeated death's really going to cost Ice 1 and 3. There's just no backup for him, really. He just hasn't had any support. And this is where Disruptor and Ancient Apparition just aren't the best supports to deal with this early aggression.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like this Viper's build. Like, going for 3 points in the Corrosive Skin, that actually triggers on the Centaur's return, so it kind of makes it a lot easier for him to actually slow the Centaur, actually engage on him at bottom lane, and we're going to see Xiao Tuji with a very fast phase boots mech. Meanwhile, top lane, just finding it out a bit with Burning, but he's going to be okay for the time being.
And Burning just skips the Bracer that we saw from YYF earlier, just straight into the Armlet. So slight deviations, but seems the drums are not as popular as mid lane. DD on the run. Actually dodges the Sunstrike because he got stunned too much, but not going to matter. Still falls.
Yeah, that's Lamb getting up to level 5, so that's what he really needed. He actually took over this middle. He's going to engage it by maybe, though. Maybe he's going to find a free kill here. The Cold Snap on cooldown.
I don't know if he gets out here, Gods. He might still go down. Cold Snap's cooling down.
Oh, yeah, 2 seconds. He's got bottle charges, and the Sunstrike is on cooldown for a bit longer. 8-minute rune coming soon. Maybe wants it. It's not going to spawn top. It's going to spawn bottom, and well, Dazzle will do his best to guard this.
This is big for the Storm, but Mushi is not going to let him take it.
Yeah.
DDC, no choice but to snag it. Will be denied, though, and they're going to cut him off. This Dazzle is so sad right now. Glimpse out of the kinetic field, but into a stuff from Mushi. Sick coordination.
Was that necessary?
That was just like showing off their team play.
Yeah, Mushi wasn't even chasing. He was like just standing there like, just send him to me. Glimpse him back.
DD, not like this. Stuns himself right in front of the enemy heroes. He does pop his ult. Immediately begins to retreat. Glimpse. Not available, still cooling down, and this is just aggressive from this Viper. Xiao Tuji diving. He's a bit low on damage here with only the level 1 poison. Not enough to kill anyone off. He just brings them all low, but he has to settle for just that. Sunstrike available. Still not enough damage without the glimpse, but they do glimpse him. Now the Sunstrike. He jukes it. Really good patient play here from your Viper. Can Ice run him down? No, he's too slow. There's a salve. The turnaround comes. Ice. This will be his 4th death of the game, I feel.
The miss.
Slow. Uphill miss. Not enough. Infest, but this creep is going to die. Burning. Forced back out. Now he's going to be next on the list. DK just self-destructing. 6-3. They're really feeding the kills away.
Max Corrosive Skin is just
so strong.
Your damage output isn't all that impressive, but the movement speed slow is huge. 25% movement speed slow at this stage of the game. All you have to do is right-click Centaur and it triggers, because the return makes you take damage and then it goes back on him. With the Invoker, he's trying to chase, but he can't. You trigger that Corrosive Skin, losing all your movement speed. Suddenly, LGD just overwhelmed them.
And that's your mech for sure. Mech's online. And you look at this Lifestealer. Lifestealer's not a very strong hero in this game, unless he just catches heroes out. Like, they have 1,000,000,001 ways to deal with them. You've got your Viper alone who can deal with them. Dazzle can provide the team with plus armor. Grave somebody who's low. It's just not a good game for Lifestealer to carry. He needs a lot of support. And when Ice is dying like this, when Ancient Apparition is only level 5, they'll be hard-pressed to find kills unless they just catch someone out completely. And it might be DD who gets caught out here. They're in hot pursuit. There's a glimpse back immediately. Right on top of Lamb. They need this kinetic field to connect, though. And haven't dropped it just yet. Suddenly Yao, he's also caught in. It's a 2-for-1 special. This is the turnaround they needed. Centaur ult gets popped. They'll dive here. The stun onto DD as well as the Sunstrike. That'll connect. He does get mech'd up, keeps him alive. Burning's going to pay with his own life, and the Alk's going to live. I think Burning toggling the armlet. Not enough. Will go down maybe. He could pursue for Mushi. He's bottling up. Wants to make sure this one zip is long enough. Goes for Mushi. Brings him down. He's got a pull for Lamb as well.
Wow.
Gets out of range. He could still drop a Remnant here. Oh, not going to go for it.
He could have a Remnant, so he's
suddenly a wild Ice
better target
in from the side. What was he planning?
I'm like, why isn't he killing Lamb? And then suddenly Ice comes along and is like, oh, okay, good thing he still has mana.
I don't know what he could have probably ran bottom, right, and just TP'd out.
I think he's thought, like, AA's in trouble, let's go maybe help him.
He actually had a TP anyway. Yeah, that was some miscommunication there.
That was just the Viper fast mech, keeping the Alchemist alive, and that was amazing play by Maybe. When he zipped up and he managed to get the right click on Mushi, despite the AA being, like, right next to him, who was kind of like, oh, you'll get the AA, who he zipped on. He found Mushi with that overload hit and gets an easy kill.
Oh, he was definitely looking for Mushi. Thought he ran north, but still eyes on the prize and got him in the end. This is real bad for DK gods. LGD's up 5k gold, 5k experience. DK running much more of a mid-game oriented lineup. Probably their most or second most important late game here in the Invoker. He's not farmed at all. He had to go Treads, wanted to rush the Midas, but died repeatedly. Settles for the Treads. That delays his Midas. Burning hasn't gone greedy, and is going to have a real hard time carrying again against Surge and just great kiting abilities, great slows and CC. Lifestealer needs help, and where is it going to come from? Only now does Lamb hit level 6. Disruptor just got his. They've got the big team fight ults, but they need to find the openings to make them work.
Well, we'll see where they look to go. Mushi's thinking Blink right now. 1,650 gold. If he can get that Blink up, the engagement gets a lot more impressive for DK, and also another possible vehicle for the Lifestealer Infest. But LGD, they're happy to just start pushing and applying pressure before that happens. Already a point booster on Viper. 1k plus HP. This is a tanky looking Viper with a mech, and they can just take down towers, probably fairly uncontested, considering they're going to have also a pipe coming up on Yao. It doesn't even have a hood yet, but that's going to be up there with all this tower gold they're getting.
I really feel once LGD get their core items up, it gets almost impossible for DK to find kills. Like, they just don't have many stuns, and you need stuns, because otherwise Daz will just grave somebody. You've got the mech that can come out, the pipe that can negate the H apparition damage, and just a limited lockdown to deal with this Storm Spirit too. But they'll try and go on him now, bottom lane. Apparition ult, fishing for a kill, but off the mark. Meanwhile, towards mid LGD smokes, they move right onto Lamb, and this one's not getting away. He tries to turn, drops a Vortex, but he'll pay with his life, and then an immediate retreat. Mushi TP's out. Dai just gonna hoof it.
Oh, is this Storm going to go for the zip? He is going to do so. MMY, he already precast the ultimate. Nice bit of play there. Maybe actually in trouble with the Sunstrike. There's a mech, though, and there's just not enough damage. They'll get MMY.
Like LGD are just rolling DK. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
MMY saw it coming, drops a Static Storm, so maybe can't even use a pull, but...
Look at these wards. That is such good warding by LGD.
And now they'll go for tier 2s. Like, we're 13 minutes in, they've taken all the tier 1s, and... suddenly they're like, well, they can't even defend these tier 2s now. They've got everything they need. They've got the urn, they've got the mech. They'll have a pipe very soon as well. Looks like the hood is coming out for Darkseer, so... DK just can't really fight. This is one of the weaknesses of Exalt Invokers. He's not really that great at dealing with these 5-man pushes.
Well, that was an unfortunate ult. Only connecting on 2 heroes and just no follow-up for it.
Mushi even, popped his Stampede. Like, he was looking to engage.
He does have the Blink still, but... again, like, there's just so many ways to deal with that initiation. There's the mech... The level 1 grave should be enough in these close engagements. And there you can just surge someone away when the Centaur goes on them. So, tough for DK to fight. Yeah. They're just not strong. They've got a really good 5v5 lineup, but they just don't have the items. Not even close.
Yeah, or even the levels. Like a level 9 Invoker. He's going to have the double Fort Spirits now, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
So 2 Fort Spirits is decent damage, but... these have been nerfed since the 6.79 days.
And this tower's in deny range, so maybe they'll be forced to give it up. Looks like they're not going to contest. Ancient Apparition slowly working away at it. Mushi just saying, come at me, bro. I dare you to come here.
I worry about... like, this is... like, Mushi's done alright this game, but he just hasn't accomplished that much in the offlane, like, compared to what we saw Ice doing when he was Centaur.
It does kind of feel like they got cornered by the draft, as in, the ideal solo mid was that Invoker, and it puts just Mushi on an awkward role. Offlane Centaur. Sure, we saw his Starladder, but his Starladder got to farm at TI3. Like, his Starladder was not just shafted to the off lane like this. And he's still done alright. I mean, honestly, Mushi's 1-1, but you want Mushi on a higher impact hero, it feels. And this is going to be tough now as the push mounts bottom. I don't really see them wanting to force this too much.
Yeah, they
hoping for a TP, and it looks like.
Maybe he hasn't got a TP, though, so...
he can go buy one. But won't need to soon.
Well, pop the smoke and pick up a TP maybe, but... For now, DK chipping away at this tier 1 tower with the Forward Spirits. They can actually bring this down without having to properly engage.
Yeah, maybe has picked up a TP now, though. Almost has Orchid. This will be real trouble for Ice Ice Ice. And these backline supports. You just zip in while you're invulnerable, Orchid, the Disruptor, and he's just dead. Can't even glimpse you back.
Yeah.
Invoker, an easy solo kill as well if he can't cold snap you. And Lamb, total food if he gets caught, so...
I think maybe sold his smoke. That's... he had
a personal smoke?
Yeah, he had a smoke on himself. He didn't actually have an item slot to buy a TP. He had a smoke in that slot. He either used it then attacked or sold it. And there's no smokes left for LGD, so...
Okay.
Unless he put it on the courier. No, it's on the courier. That was... Greedy play, maybe.
Well, it's paying off now. He's got an Invis rune. Has been spotted by DK. This could be an opening. Just maybe.
There's no detection for him, and he's got the Orchid money, so that's gonna be flying out for him. And DK, if they got detection on anyone, no, not yet. They bring a sentry. Okay, so they've got a sentry now. MMY drops one immediately, but they're not gonna find the storm.
Though they've got plenty of sentries bottom as well, but unfortunately there's nobody there.
This is just more like DK money being wasted. And DK don't really have money to just blow away. They're down 7,500 gold at 17 minutes in. This is looking ugly.
Bad. And it's just a matchup problem as well. Viper's just so good against some of these heroes. Maybe walking through the trees. Mushi's there, and he's going to start it off on Mushi. There's still a Lifestealer packed inside. Now the kinetic field comes out. Storm just zips away, dodges all of the damage, and this looks really bad for DK. The wall gets dropped. Completely out of position is burning. Mushi does come in, connects with the 4-hero stomp, but unlike that TI3 crush, there's no follow-up from Shadow Fiend. And yeah, that will be an easy win here.
Yeah, tier 2 tower goes down. LGD just decimate DK. Centaur Lifestealer down. 3 heroes standing, but it's 3 heroes who are not going to be able to do a whole lot. LGD can fall back, take Roshan, I imagine. They're going to farm mid first, and they're in no rush to end this game. Their lineup outclasses DKs at all stages of the game, like early, mid, late game. They're looking great. Like their late game is it doesn't look like they've got an amazing carry, but Viper is just a good counter to Lifestealer as well. Centaur, Storm Spirit has the mobility to deal with Lifestealer. They've just got a straight up counter lineup.
Yeah, and again, minimal stuns on DK. They've got Cold Snap and Centaur Stomp. Makes Grave even more effective. They don't have that much burst damage, and you need that to prevent things like the mech from turning the fight around. The pipe is about to come out, and DK mostly magic damage, which the pipe will negate. So like you said, just great to kind of counter what DK's good at.
Yeah. Well, mech pipe
and to do a lot of their own damage. And yeah, the Orchid's out now, maybe.
Yeah, mech pipe, Orchid, like this, they've got a huge item advantage. I expect them to just keep on looking to take fights here.
They are laying a trap for him, but I don't think they can. Maybe they can kill him. Got 1,000 health. If he switches to Intreds and they jump him, that might be enough. Oh, this could be bad. This would be a big kill if they can find maybe out. He's just poked his head around the corner. Centaur comes in. They do get the stomp. They blow him up. Well done. DK needed a mistake from LGD, and that is a big one.
Yeah, that's DK just have to, like, Burning, as much as he wants to be farming, he needs to be here for these infest ganks, because that's going to help get them back in this game, finding any pickoffs they can, and Mushi finds the blink stun, will go back to base to heal, and that slows down LGD. They don't want to push without their Storm Spirit, even though they've got some big item pickups, like the Ags on the Viper.
Looks like Ice will go Necro 3 here, so a little bit more of a ratty build. Just stall the game, because they're not winning it right now, that's for damn sure, so we'll see how it works out.
Hard to rat versus Storm always. That's
Storm, yeah, and maybe the well, DD's just gone Vanguard, I guess, so not that mobile.
Yeah, he'll be just being beefy on the front lines helps a bit. I guess it's more HP for Lifestealer to use for the feast, but in general, it'll keep him alive against the AA, the Disruptor, Invoker damage as well. Oh,
they're going on burning top. They have the silence. He can't get out of here if they can focus him. Nope, just maybe TPing in. Thought they would actually make a go, but he's content to farm. And hey, once he gets BKB, what does LGD do about that? Or what does DK do about that, rather? Nothing. No Disruptor Ags, no Hex on Invoker. They won't have them for a very long time. Storm will be God once that item comes out.
I don't think there's too much of an answer for it.
But for now, there is the Disruptor ult. Holds maybe in position. He'll get sniped off again. So, well, if they're going to keep on picking him off, that could turn the tides. But
Glimpse back. Alchemist is alone. Burning could almost fight here. No, he's not
worried about further TPs. Mushi's just threatening to go in. That's 2 great snipes on the Storm. And I feel at this point, we need to see somebody park behind him. Put the Dazzle behind him. Maybe put the Darkseer or the Viper nearby. But they don't want to just leave him alone, because he needs to stop dying and get that next item out.
They're good snipes, but it's also highlighting maybe his inexperience against these top teams, because like the pub style, like you go playing pubs, you're not versing this kind of coordinated ganks that will punish you and shut you down, but DK just know that he's one of the targets they can kill and can just destroy and shut down a lot, because Viper's too tanky for stuff like that. But this Storm Spirit, even when he has a BKB, if you get the stun before he pops BKB, you can almost still bring him down. So
that death has a ripple effect too. It means the tier 1 will fall bottom. And with Burning in the front lines, he might get the last hit. Indeed he will. Very close to his completed Sanjin Yasha. With Centaur ult, the move speed feels a bit redundant, but I guess it's just a cost-effective item, and he's not farming that much anyway. It's a little strange, though.
Well, maybe. Once again, back to this top lane where he's died so many times, and this Observer will spot him out as soon as he's there. It also spots that he's got no backup, so...
If he dies again...
MMY backs off. MMY kind of gives away there's an Observer ward. And look, Storm actually pinged exactly where the Observer ward normally is, which is like right at this intersection here, but it's higher up in the lane, so it's actually going to be kind of tricky to de-ward. They know it's warded somewhere. He's still pinging there. He's like, guys, there's a ward here. I ran top and Disruptor backed off. Like,
he's probably blaming that for the first death as well.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely going to say, hey, look, that's where I died, and there's definitely a ward now. Like, he just confirmed there's a ward there, but... the exact position they may not find.
They'll work on the Roche. Lamb on the high ground. Just chilling.
Spam that medallion.
Nice. This is where you have to dig deep. Just spam the medallion. Go for some sneaky tactics. And DK showing their experience. Everybody just retreats the hell out when LGD are missing.
Yeah.
Even Mushi, MMY just hiding in the trees. When you take a big risk like this, you do not want to be just showing heroes elsewhere on the map.
This is a good little play. Like, being on that dire side, being able to get that in. They're showing heroes elsewhere. Like, they show Mushi top.
He's a bit unlucky here with the bashes. He'll pop Wex.
He can resummon Ford Spirit soon. It's just...
yeah, he gets it. That's a huge turn. They're really coming back.
And DK do that just so cleverly. Like, they were Mushi was like positioning himself under this tier 2 tower. Like, he could have died there, but it was all to make sure that they don't give up Roche. Because if Storm zips in, he probably dies. But just to ensure they get the Roche, he's okay to put himself at risk.
I still think LGD matches up quite well against DK's lineup, but DK are just making the scrappier plays. And they have been for the past 10 minutes.
Sneak a Roche, get 2 Storm kills in a row.
Yeah, good
slow down the item progression of LGD.
And I think LGD are fine as long as they just stem the bleeding, keep on farming, and just react very quickly to those goes from DK. But that's where DK are just going to have to outskill LGD, and this is a good start, sneaking the Roche. And now burning Sanjin Yasha up, he'll work towards his next real item.
Yeah, and Necro 3 coming very soon for Ice 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 as well, so... these item pickups are going to just be trickier and trickier to deal with. They'll have a mech coming on Mushi as well. Not the biggest pickup, but hey, it's a pickup nonetheless.
And the supports for LGD, have they kept up in farm, I guess is the main question. Looks like they're doing pretty well so far. 5.6k on the Alk. He's got an Urn up, so he can work towards some useful like item for the team. Maybe he just gets a BKB or a Blink Dagger. Pineapple also up to 2.3k, so, I mean, all things considered, LGDs are still farming well and keeping themselves in a comfortable position. They shouldn't get too comfortable, but I think they're doing all the right things, aside from those few deaths for maybe.
Yeah. I think they want to apply a bit more pressure and just be a bit more aggressive, like imposing themselves on the map. Unfortunately, as soon as like their Storms did, they've got to wait and not try and get too aggressive, but if they go for these, like, the tier 2 tower top, that should be a pretty free tower. They could have almost gone for the Roshan themselves much earlier. They've got such a farm Viper that DK can't really fight. But they're playing just a bit too defensively for my liking. Ooh, that Sunstrike.
Clips, just singes the hairs on the rear of DDC. But
probably would have, I don't think it would have been enough damage, actually, but it would have just been nice regardless.
There will be a TP out from your Centaur. Mushi forced to back off for a Buckler, working his way towards a completed mech. It's just a sad time when you're 25 minutes in and you're still trying to finish mech on the off lane. That is one of the issues with that offlane Centaur, though. He's just not a great flash farmer. He's okay with return, but...
A lot of what was happening when Ice was playing it is that, like, Lamb as well as MMY would get more farm than Centaur. Like, they would they always prioritize this kind of, like, farm distribution where your AA, your Disruptor, whatever it may be, get a lot of farm.
Oh boy, maybe he's lurking, but Mushi's here. Has the Infest Bomb ready. He's just in range for a blink. There's also MMY. They just keep on laying these traps for him.
Yeah.
And he just goes zipping back. He's like, I'm not getting glimpsed.
He's somewhat learned from his mistakes of past.
And I like that just aggressive, I'm getting the frick out of here, man.
I love this DK ward at top lane. Like, they tried to de-ward it and missed. This LGD at top lane, they knew it was warded somewhere. They drop a sentry, they don't find it, and the Observer ward is still giving vision, so LGD probably think the ward expired as opposed to it being
higher up. They even have a
up.
gem. DDC just hasn't been there in ages. It's just unfortunate. I wouldn't mind just seeing the gem on the Storm, though, honestly. Yeah. Sure, they've had these excellent ambushes to kill him, but they're, like, super hard to pull off, and if he is the gem, they won't have the vision to do it.
Yeah, the pickoffs have come as a result of the vision. They're going to go for a smoke now, LGD.
Maybe he's in front. No BKB yet, though. He'll find a haster in top. No dire vision for this. In fact, despite the good lane wards for pickoffs, their actual, like, standard map vision is very lacking.
Yeah.
Courier's on the way back. But yeah, they do not see anything coming through the river. Something wicked comes towards burning. It will be maybe. Does he get off the quick silencer? Is there a quicker rage? The rage is there. And that'll be
nothing. Yeah. Okay.
And everyone's going to TP out now.
Oh, Mushi. He's, TP'd up. No problem.
Hey, they forced 3 TPs for a smoke. Not too bad.
That's their last smoke, I believe. They ran out earlier, so that must have been the one that restocked. So another 7 minutes before they can smoke again. LGD. Probably going to be... Imagine Yao is yelling at maybe for selling that smoke earlier, or at least blowing it. But this is what I feel like they could have done a good 5-10 minutes ago. Is just bring down this tier 2 tower. DK did not want to fight them. More so they want to fight them now, because they've actually got their Necro 3 on Invoker. They've got their Sanjin Yasha, like, on an Air Lifesteal. These items they didn't have earlier in the game.
And Apparition ult clips top, but only hits the creep wave, and the creeps just keep on going. And meanwhile, bottom lane, DK, already having taken the tier 1 earlier, maybe we'll try to force a trade, but they'll be too late for this. They'll either have to give up a tier 2 for nothing, or LGD will try and force the high ground. And hey, this will be the last outer tower, so maybe they don't wait too much longer.
Yeah. Well,
Centaur's here, ready with a blink, but they'll zip in. Maybe he's diving for Mushi, but the team was starting to retreat out. I'm not sure if they wanted to go for this kill, but with the Alks done there, it looks like it'll be enough. Mushi's going to drop. Yeah, maybe just jumped in.
Yeah,
and LGD were like, we're just going to back, but then they changed their minds and it worked out.
Bit of a slow reaction from Mushi too. He should have been able to get that blink off too, because he zipped in and silenced him before he like pulled, so there was a good at least second where he could have reacted with the blink there, because the silence is not going to stop you from blinking out.
Yeah. But I think this is an interesting difference between Maybe and Xiao 8. I feel like Xiao 8 would have just backed there. Maybe just, it's like YOLO. Because the rest of the team was just backing off too. Like, they didn't expect it, but...
Mushi had no backup too. Like, he had no reason to be there whatsoever. That was... You can see this is not a role he's used to playing. Like.
Yeah, not in his comfort zone, for sure. He's used to playing those either more elusive or just the heroes that are more mobile in general and can decide when they want to fight.
The times where he's played like these melee initiators, he's always getting lots of farm. Like his Starladder in the past, even like he'll play like a DK mid. He always gets good farm, but this is like a off lane, you're strapped for farm, you've got to be really careful and like know when you can engage.
No way does he get out of this one. Even without the pull. Oh, maybe he does. Didn't save enough mana for the pull.
He zipped in from too far. I guess I didn't see quite how far he zipped there, but yeah, he
it was like
no
just too far, and he doesn't have a magic stick, unfortunately.
Yeah, TP home probably worthwhile considering he's completely out of mana.
Earn saves lives, man. That extra 6 strength makes the difference here.
Our Viper's now got a BKB coming out, so that's pretty damn useful.
Yeah, I still don't know how they deal with the Viper.
This is a
how farmed
Viper.
is Burning? Burning's got Sanjiyasha Armlet. Actually, he's getting there. Remember, he'll have Centaur ult, so even if they Viper ult him, his attack speed will be pretty shit, but he can still at least run after you and hit you once in a while.
Yep.
And Ice will work his way towards the site, so I still see the Viper as a big issue for DK, but not as bad as it was 5-10 minutes ago.
Well, definitely not. Get aside the Vice Invoker. Ice, one of those late game Invoker players who will wreak havoc in a team fight. Give him like level 20 plus and with more points in the Wex, and he will be doing a lot of work.
They're baiting around this double damager, and they say, go for it, guys. Go for it. They're not visible here.
Roche is up in the next couple of minutes.
Oh, they were ready. They were ready for maybe, but they were even better on the Grave. He zips out. He's ticking low. There's a pipe. Oh, I don't think it connected on him. The pipe didn't get him, unfortunately. So
he'll die regardless to the Shatter, I get.
Yeah, you're right. The Glimpse back in.
Oh.
And now the Viper as well.
All the farm in the world will not save him.
Not when he's surrounded like this. What an absolutely unbelievable trap. The double damager and biggest bait of DK's life. Yeah. Not a hero, but a rune.
And now they'll get DD as well in the outcome.
The wily veterans on DK do it again. God. They spring the trap. Against all odds, they're forging this comeback before our eyes.
Mushi pre-blinked. He blinked before the storm even arrived at the rune. As soon as he saw and heard the zip animation.
Yeah, they have this. As soon as the storm was right here, he just went.
Yeah. He knew where Storm was landing, and that Storm would not have time to actually channel his next zip, so great play from DK.
Like chess-style Dota, just thinking 2 moves ahead, 3 moves ahead, and making it work. Wow. I feel like we've had 4 or 5 BTS moments from DK already this game. And it's only their first match of Starladder, and an important one for them to come out on top. LGD, one of the stiffer opponents in the group, even though they may go on to lose this and drop to 0-2. This has been, so far, still a pretty impressive performance to do, to hang a big lead on DK like this.
It's a sad gold graph for LGD fans. Like, they were up by a good 12,000 gold, and now it's up just a 4,000 lead. This game was definitely well in their favor, but those 2 pickups on maybe, not so much as about giving away the gold, but just slowed down LGD's tempo. They couldn't actually move around the map and be aggressive because of maybe being dead. It was just like 5 minutes, 10 minutes being bought for DK to pick up their items and position themselves for their next engagement.
And good news, Guts, he did get the double damage rune, so he's got it now for the next fight.
Which they want to make sure that Roshan doesn't respawn without them being nearby, but unfortunately Roshan not up yet. Because LGD could probably win a fight around the Roche pit, but tricky, and now
and DK just do such a good job of getting the trades elsewhere.
Yeah,
they just haven't made a mistake since that 10-minute mark.
I think LGD
12-15-minute mark, something like that. Since then, they've been absolutely flawless. Aside from the one Mushi desktop. That's
LGD are fed up. They're going high ground. They've got pipe, mech. They've got dazzle, ulti, the weave.
Zip in on burning. They silence him too. And just as I say, they haven't been making mistakes. They make a big one. They lose burning to the double damager, and he'll buy back immediately, but with a pipe online, the blink stop only connecting on Viper isn't enough. Ancient Apparition ult's there, but Viper just BKBs and keeps on running.
Yeah.
And he'll be fine. They glimpse back one. Maybe Yao not so lucky. Is there a Grave available? Yes, there is. Pops the Shiva.
Yeah.
Just this crushing item advantage for LGD, it feels. Like, the gold graph says it's even, but their items are just better in these 5v5 clashes.
And to think how long they've had these items. Sure, they only recently pick up the Shiva's Guard. The BKB for Viper is a bit newer, but they could have been doing this so much earlier. Whereas, like, having Weave plus Mech plus Pipe, pushing high ground.
And just the better 5-man heroes in some ways. Like, Darkseer's really good here.
We haven't seen a proper 5-man from LGD since, like, the early fights when they were getting ahead.
DK's 5-man is pretty strong, but a lot of it's negated by BKB. And there's 2 key BKBs up as well.
Yep. Well, LGD want to go into the Roshan pit. I think they feel, hey, even if DK come, we can maybe still take this.
Mid lane, Alk's really far out
Reveal
here.
the smoke.
Oh boy, he gets glimpsed back. Lifestealer bomb connects. They do immediately start off by slowing Mushi, not burning actually, who just starts going to work. Slowly but surely, there's a zip and a pull onto burning. Can they bring him down in time though? He's still alive, the Vax there. There was no Alk stun follow-up, unfortunately though, as he's dead. Now Mushi retreating out, but still alive, and LGD forced to just beat a hasty retreat.
Oh, glimpse back again. There's a Centaur Storm waiting for maybe. These glimpse Centaur Storms have just been perfectly executed.
That's like 2 or 3 in a row.
And it's
we were saying, I don't know if the Centaur's working out for Mushi, but working out better than we gave him credit for at first. Still though, the buyback comes from Storm. They've got the wall now. Shiva's online. I don't think DK want to fight this. Not if Darkseer gets off his combo.
Well, if they can Hex and kill Storm, or one of the big heroes, maybe it will work out for them okay. And that's a pretty big pickup for Ice.
I like this. Just retreat out a bit. Don't want to fight against Darkseer in the pit with Shiva's online. And the wall. Very risky. But they may look to go back in. Let LGD enter the pit. as they start scouting it with the forward spirit and then make them pay.
Yeah, 15 seconds on the center ulti, which will help them a lot with engaging. But LGD, they're sort of poising around the mid lane again. I think it's okay for LGD to have another stab at this one. They've got all their ultimates, and some of these big buybacks are on cooldown. Not to mention Ice, he doesn't have the money for one. So no Nakes, no Invoker buyback. That's all that really, the big buybacks. And maybe Centaur can buy back with and have Blink Stun available, but that's about it.
And they're going to go in again with an Infest Bomb. The Chilling Touch gets popped, and LGD just hang out in the backside. The heroes with BKB can do a lot of work in these fights. Burning, only staying on Basher, needs to get lucky to bring some of those
There's a wraparound from
down.
Mushi.
He's coming from the side. He jumps in now. Connects on Yao. Can Yao get anything off? Great grave. Keeps him in fighting shape. He needs to drop this wall soon. He's still hexed. Back into the wall. He doesn't get the wall off before falling. And all of a sudden, maybe it's up to him to clean this up. He's picked up a double kill.
Yeah, including the Invoker, who doesn't have buybacks. Without the Invoker, it gets a lot easier. Maybe they're getting low. He's got no HP, no mana. DD.
Another glimpse. Another glimpse onto Xiaotuji. These glimpses, the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, man.
Glimpse wins games.
Gem hits the floor. It looks like Mushi will take that one. Gets earned back up, and if they can chase and get some more, they'd probably love to right now. And, well...
This is their third BKB, though. They've got one on the Alk now.
We've seen a lot of buybacks the last 5 minutes.
Who bought back in that?
The
Ancient Apparition.
And the Darkseer as
and
well.
The Darkseer.
Yeah.
So DK lost 3, and LGD lost 2, is that right?
Yes. That sounds right? Or was it... No, was it 2 each, I want to say.
Well, he lost Invoker, and then Darkseer and Ancient Apparition, who both bought back, right?
Darkseer's Radiant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that'll do it.
2 each.
Math is hard at 6 in the morning, fellas.
Yeah.
Don't try this at home. But fortunately, that's why we have 2 casters.
That's why we have stats as well.
I was reading that 1+1 was... It took 167-page proof in Principia Mathematica to prove that 1+1 equals 2. So... Math's even simple math's harder than you think is what I'm trying to say here, gods.
Okay.
But DK have just done such a good job at defending high ground.
Yeah.
And now it's pretty much even. Gold, experience going DK's way, but...
Oh, man.
6k, 7k experience, not the biggest deal at this stage.
12k gold lead blowing LGD. It's still...
They haven't thrown this yet, though.
Yeah.
They can still win.
They're still looking to do so. And like you said, that last fight, if they'd gotten down the wall of Replica on the Darkseer, which he came close to doing...
It was a great grave.
Fight.
It was a great grave that almost turned the tides. But this is where Yao now needs a BKB, and maybe the Shivas wasn't the way to go.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point. I think he does need a BKB more than the Shivas almost. The Shivas helped him once or twice with the AoE slow, with dealing with burning. But you've got the Viper for that.
Another side swipe. Here comes Mushi.
Smoked up as well.
This time from the north side. Last time he came from the south. This time, it's the king of the north who jumps in, but the stomp gets dodged by a BKB. He misses one, the other BKBs, and all of a sudden they're fighting without their big stomp initiation, but DD didn't pop his own. Where was the BKB from DD? Just doesn't get it off. Now maybe gets hexed. They're just getting picked off one by one after a bad initiation from DK. It just doesn't matter. Yao will be next. They're just crumbling under the pressure. LGD have lost 3. And everybody's got to run now, but I don't know if they get out. There's an open wounds cooling down. The Glimpse will bring one back. He BKBs his way out of it, but DDC, he'll be the easy trade instead. No way he escapes. Ghost Walk just to slow him down. Keep on running through him. Can they stop this TP out? Is there anything? Oh, he invoked Ghost Walk, didn't have the Cold Snap.
Yeah.
And the Hex still cooling down, but that's 4 for 1.
That was a big fight, and considering like the Centaur missed his engagement, like that Blink Stun missed. They're looking for the Darkseer more than anything, or if they can get the Storm, great. But the Storm BKB, the Darkseer got out of range, and even with the Blink Stun missing, DK still just destroy LGD.
Some key mistakes there. No BKB from the Alk just ended up being useless in the fight, and just a lack of focus fire. Maybe he was chasing north. The rest of the team was running south, and he just doesn't seem like he's on the same page as his team in some of these fights. Even that top fight where they got the kill, like he wanted to go in and go on Mushi, and the rest of the team just wanted to back and TP out. So it feels to me like an LGD team that's still struggling to figure out kind of the, you know, they don't have that like mind meld that you see from DK where they all know exactly what the others are doing, sometimes even without talking.
Yeah, the strategy, like on paper and prepared, works for them, but like when it comes to adapting to the strategy and the situation as things come along, it just seems LG, that's where they struggle. Because from the get-go, like to get that big of a lead as they did, they outdrafted and outmaneuvered DK in the early game, but DK just find a way to play as scrappy as possible and get back in, and LGD just... To deal with scrappy Dota, you got to have that kind of like experienced team cohesion, which they just don't seem to have yet.
Well, they're going on Yao, but DDC's here. But they know he's here, I think, because they've seen the projectiles. Doesn't matter. Sunstrike's going to connect. And he's like, well, I guess I left at the wrong time, buddy.
Then the AA Ice Blast basically ensures even if a hero gets Grave, they're still going to die when the Grave wears off. Unless you Grave like towards the end of the duration.
But you can only do that if they've got a lot of health left, which he would not. Yeah, it's tough. This is where you need the BKB, but at this point, I don't know if it matters. Now DK are really starting to hurt. Burning's got his Abyssal Blade out. The Invoker's hitting quite hard, and bottom lane they're going in, but a good zip away. Maybe thinking they could force out a BKB there, but good patience for maybe. Doesn't blow it. Still, though, is it enough? He goes in on Burning, gets off the silence, but remember, Burning has the Aegis available. I don't know if they want to waste too much on him. They do get the Aegis. They'll pop the BKB, but maybe he's out of mana. Can they glimpse him back in? They've got a Hex. Oh, he's so royally screwed. Just punches him, punts him through the field goal uprights, really, with the Deafening Blast there. And now Mushi being pursued out, but still okay for the time being. The Viper held in position by the Cold Feet, maybe forced to buy back after this. He'll pull in Burning. This could be Burning second death. Gets forced after away, but back in, running through the wall, the tower. Armlet toggle.
Oh, he's okay.
Oh, he died! Oh! What? Where was the toggle?
I think the Poison Touch killed him. Oh, where was the toggle? Where was the... He could have infested anything or anyone.
Yikes. Didn't work out.
Burning's going to be upset with himself.
Yeah, the Dazzle got the kill. It must have been the poison.
His team won't say anything, but Burning is going to be very upset with himself about that.
That was an expensive fight for LGD, but they do get rid of the Aegis. It cost them a Viper and a Storm Death and a buyback. They'll march down mid, gods, but Burning has the buyback. So if they overcommit to this is probably game. Maybe we'll be dead for like 80 seconds or something long like that.
Oh, Mushi wants to go for this one. He's going to blink stun. He's going to catch out the Alchemist, who does not have BKB. It's on cooldown. He's going to get blown up by the Invoker combo. Stormspirit's trying to deal with Ice, who doesn't actually have BKB. He's got a Hex, but he doesn't get a chance to use it. Maybe he's done a good job here. Taking out the Invoker. Lifesteal deciding not to buy back, and
Where's the Burning buyback if they're going to fight? Why is Burning not coming? If he's got the buyback, are you fighting or not? I guess they's not going to need it in the end. Yao forced to retreat out, gets glimpsed back in, but Mushi almost walks into him, almost dies, playing with fire, playing with Ion Shell, but still alive, but the Shivas has cooled down. He can surge in for a Shiva's kill here if he wants. He's got the Shivas, he's still not using it, pops it, but too late. Mushi's gonna live on 50 HP, and Burning never bought back. I actually still think he should have, because they could have killed the Viper and probably this Dazzle as well, but hey, works out. And now the Storm's dead for over a minute.
Yeah, my Ice Blast not going to land on too much here, but yeah, end of the day, the fight goes a lot better. Like, that was almost Mushi dying there. I guess if Lifesteal buys back and you don't get the kills, then it's a bit wasted. So
that's true.
They lose the Invoker, but that seemed like even Lifesteal buying back would not have saved him, because maybe committed his entire mana pool to kill the Invoker, and then that left him screwed. He was dead after that, so maybe he's just overcommitting with these engagements of his. Like, he has enough to get a kill and finish off one hero, but he never has enough to actually escape and get out.
You know, maybe CIS rubbed off on DK. You know, CIS playing super aggressive Dota, going all out with the Rapier from June in the end, and we're seeing something similar from DK. Burning's on the sidelines, has buyback, doesn't use it, and the whole team still goes in anyway.
Yeah.
They've really... I feel like CIS rubbed off on them.
Well, we'll see where DK look to go next. And at this point, they're the ones sort of in greater control here. You've got your Disruptor, Aghanim Scepter with a 4-star. You've got Mushi. They've got 4-stars all over, which just makes it that much hard. That's where he keeps running out of mana in his fights, because he has to chase these heroes who are getting 4-staffed away from him. And
he's also just zipped, like, the wrong... Like, okay, that fight, he was here. He zipped past the Centaur, like, up this way, and then the whole team was over here.
The Centaur blinked as he zipped in, like, away from him. That was...
He's had some bad luck. He's also just missed zipped. We saw, I think, early in the river, like, he was kind of sloppy with his mana management. Yeah. And I don't know. I think maybe he's a bit rattled after all those deaths. He had a pretty damn good start, and he's probably scratching his head, like, where did it all go wrong?
Hey, you're versing the best team in China, one of the best teams in the world, so it's the pressure will get to you to some extent.
Oh, DK, they like to play with fire, though. This is that same team that went 0-3 against IG. And that's where I feel BO1 kind of works against DK sometimes, is, you know, they're a team that in a long series would normally figure you out, but we'll see an Ancient Apparition ult fly top. Sunstrike as well. just for good measure. There's no eggs, but yeah, that's these BO1s all can work against them at times. Like they're coming back in this game and looking like they might take it, but LGD have made a lot of mistakes along the way to allow that to happen.
Well, we'll see where DK head from here. They've grouped up near the Roshan pit. Roshan not respawning for at least 2 more minutes, so they'll be sitting here a while if they're waiting for Roshan.
Or maybe they will. Can LGD farm their way back into this one? Do you think if they just take it late enough, they're in good shape?
I don't think they're getting much item-wise. Like, the item progression just isn't there. Alchemist is going for an Assault Crest, which will... It's nice, but it's just not... He's not going to be a true carry. That just makes everyone a little bit tankier. It's not going to make a big difference. Your Darkseid's not going to anything. Your Storm Spirit's been buying back.
I feel like that's the big problem. If maybe had a Scythe,
yeah, they
could actually have killed Burning in that last engagement.
Or if Alk already had the Assault Crest and was building towards like an Abyssal Blade or something, then you've got a different story. But the item progression is non-existent for LGD at this point. Whereas for DK, it's another story. All the gold's going their way. They're getting the kills. Invoker's got his Hex BKB, 2.2k gold. Burning's going to have an Assault Crest as well soon to kind of counteract the Alchemist one. And even your supports are getting pretty filthy rich.
Well, LGD are just kind of retreating into their shell, hanging out as 5 mid, terrified of the global ganks, the pickoffs, the snipes. Can't really fault them for that. They're also at that point where one bad fight with Roche fairly soon to respawn could cost them Aegis Cheese, and with that, quite possibly the game.
Well, just continue to farm at their own jungle. So both teams, I think, accepting the fact that, hey, let's get our next couple of items. For DK, it's like, we're going to wait for Roshan anyway, so we may as well just spread out, farm the map, be as efficient as possible. Something which they've just won games alone on, farming efficiency, not always grouping up when, hey, everyone's missing on the map, doesn't mean you have to group as 5. You want to farm these places where you're, for the most part, fairly safe.
Look at that really aggressive movement from your Disruptor. Just MMY, off on his own warding, but DDC happens to stroll by with the gem and you'll quickly deward it.
Okay.
He's still sticking around bottom. They maybe want to head this way. Burning's coming. Does he have AC yet? Nope, just the plate mail for now.
Close, but probably still safe for the buyback over the AC. Like, AC is a decent pickup, but it's not like a game-changing item.
There's so much armor on the side of LGD as well.
Yeah.
Like, they'll have the AC of their own soon. They're also working with Weave. I still think on paper LGD matches up well to DK, but it's just every fight, DK just gets the most amazing initiations off.
Yeah, the item advantage is no longer in LGD's favor, which it was for the first 40 minutes, and finally we're seeing it's actually DK who come out ahead, and the big late game problem is going to be the Invoker more than anyone.
Yeah, that's where the Storm just needs a Hex. He's got to have one. That's the key. But he's a long way off from it.
Invoker's going to cause much more problems than Lifesteal. Lifesteal, I guess, is almost guaranteed a kill with his Abyssal Blade, but we'll see.
The thing is, the Lifestealer Centaur combo is pretty problematic.
Yeah.
Because Lifestealer just running around like perma-hasted in these fights for a good 5 seconds.
The other problem is, I mean, Disruptor Agceptor, I kind of mentioned before, it's one of those Agceptor which sounds amazing, disabling items, but still, if you catch the Storm before he BKBs or the Viper or something, that is a kill. They're not going to get off those BKBs.
I said 5. It's actually 3.75, so slight exaggeration, but it's enough for that first kill, and DK just march into the Roche pit. No longer are they resorting to Ice's shenanigans, just soloing it. They'll just 5-man it. And there's no retaliation from LGD, except... Oh boy. Oh boy, they got the glimpse back. He got him the vision for the glimpse. Really well coordinated Yao, a helpless but very fast Piglet.
No buyback too.
But nowhere to run.
He's short buyback by 70-ish gold.
DK may not know it, but they're going to push down mid and press the issue here.
Try force it out.
I remember they've got Aegis Cheese. They also have buyback on Invoker and Lifestealer. In fact, Ice has Boots of Travel buyback here too.
Yeah.
That's 3 lives for your Invoker.
He probably won't need all 3, because as much as they want to focus Ice, he's got Aegis. So they want to make sure they can turn the fight into a numbers game in their favor as soon as possible, which may be killing Burning before he pops the cheese, or otherwise you'd want to kill off the squishier supports. But going for Ice is just such a trap when he's got Aegis, as well as BKB.
Somehow, some way, DK have clawed their way back into this game.
Yeah.
And now they've got LGD by the throat. They'll break the high ground, breach the base, and quickly begin working on this tier 3 tower. For LGD, Storm no longer a great initiator. There's lots of BKBs, just survivable. heroes and 4 staves, the Aghanim Scepter on the Disruptor. DK won't force it too much. Not a good time to really force mid with top and bottom both pushing in, but they'll push these lanes out, then we'll see them go again. And they've got quite a few minutes before they really have to contest.
Yeah, and that problem that LGD have of lack of item progression, well, DK do not have it. You're going to be looking at Lifesteal with an Assault Crest whenever he wants to buy it. Centaur can get a Heaven's Halberd. The item progression exists there for DK. 5k on your Invoker. And while Viper just picks up a Manta Style, the Manta Style just creates a bit of confusion. Makes it harder for Lifesteal to maybe cast an Abyssal Blade or something, but this is not really that big of an item pickup for LGD.
No, Viper just... his illusions are not that amazing either. So he's no anti-mage. That's for sure.
Almost a bit surprised he went for a Manta Style, like over a Butterfly or a DPS item, but Smoke from LGD looking to find anyone top, and they're not going to find anyone. DK just mostly poised around near where Roshan and their Ancients are.
Yeah, remember, DK have 7 lives here, plus the buyback on their core Invoker.
Ooh, they're going to find
This could be a good initiation, though. It's Viper in front. Not sure he's the one you want to lead the way, but he will. And he walks right into an Invoker. Suddenly the Static Storm gets dropped. Maybe it didn't BKB. He walks right into it. He's going to die. No buyback, at least not yet. And this has got to be just no chance in hell do they win this fight. They've lost 3. They've lost 4. It's a train wreck, an absolute catastrophe, and a very quick GG.
The Aghanim's Disruptor, preventing Viper as well as Storm Spirit from casting BKB.
That was just a 2 for the price of 1 special. Dropped the ult, and then Storm just zipped right into it.
He was thinking, I can zip in then BKB as soon as I land, but does not work that way when there's a Storm Spirit ulti. I think the Storm Spirit was already mid-ulti when the Disruptor casted the Static Storm, because he's like, oh, sweet, we found a pick-off. Meanwhile, your Viper's like, oh, shit, I can't actually cast BKB. This Static Storm is cancelling it. It was just... I like the decision from MMY to instantly cast the Aghanim Scepter ulti. Even if he only kills 1 with it, hey, an ulti for 1 hero is well worth it in a fight like that, and that was just huge plays from DK. What a comeback indeed. Like, I'm surprised they managed that one. LGD were just so far ahead. They had the better lineup that countered DK's, but DK just showing why they are DK, why they're feared.
I would say up until that game, we maybe had like 1 BTS moment with that Weaver Rapier pickup, and in this game alone, probably 5.
Man,
that bottom engagement where Mushi preemptively just blinks, stomps on the Storm as he zips in to get the rune. Whew. Man, these guys, they're players, huh? That was just an impressive performance.
They're championship players as well. Like this is a team that will go far. Any tournament they're in, especially a big tournament, they will go deep in the tournament and will always be a team to look out for
and
the
just
title.
Not a team you can count out. Like DK can be down 10, 15k gold. They had bad hero matchups that game. They just outplayed their opponents. What more can you say?
No, that's it. That's a great way to end Starladder China Day 2. DK put an exclamation point onto it with that victory. They're second of today, so they go up to 2-0. Yeah, they're going to be up there tied with Newbie.
They're up there tied with Newbie, but the way DK's playing looks a little bit scarier, I would say. I still feel, though, like all of these teams, outside of maybe Tong Fu Wenzhou, capable of taking a game off of the others. So, DK 2-0, IG also 2-0 after today, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
IG are also looking, really strong.
And Vici as well, I believe.
Vici lost to IG.
So that's right. So Vici's 1-1.
IG, Newbie, and DK all 2-0. And to me, IG, DK, Vici Gaming are the big 3 here. And the way IG are playing, their match against DK could be pretty sick.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, that's going to conclude our Starladder China action. We do have Starladder Europe. I don't even know what day it is at this point. Day 6 or something like that. Yeah. Kicking off soon.
2.5 hours, actually. But it's a big one. Na'Vi vs. Empire.
Rescheduled from yesterday, I believe, or from a recent day. So looking forward to that. Na'Vi vs. Empire. In fact, 2 of the biggest names right now. Empire, some would argue, is the 3rd best team in Europe after Na'Vi Alliance.
Absolutely.
And perhaps playing better than Alliance.
Yes. Alliance maybe not in the best form right now. But so, yeah, Empire just red hot and put them against Na'Vi.
All right.
Some good CIS Dota.
Well, guys, 2.5 hours until that match. Check it out right here at twitch.tv/DotaStarladder_EN. I'm LD. He's Gods. You can follow us on Twitter. Twitter.com/LDDota. Twitter.com/BTSGods. And Twitter.com/BeyondTheSummit. But for now, we'll take a break. We'll see you in 2.5 hours for Starladder Europe. Thanks for watching.